Howdy guys, how you doing? It's your friend again, Wild Elf 26. Hey, I got my gimbal ready. I'm going to do a follow-up now regarding the Transformers I did the abrupt video of earlier. Alright guys, as you know it's the holidays, so I got my Christmas tree, got some jingle bells. Okay, I've got some various of my Transformers laying out. The ones you'll recognize immediately is the one I did the more popular video about. This is Beast Alliance Optimus Prime. And he doesn't come with the Ion Blaster, folks, but it's from a previous Prime, and it looks very good, fits well in his hand. So I'll put him here. We will size chart these Transformers, and I will do some transformations of them too. I have Legends class Bumblebee. He transforms a lot like Gen 1 Bumblebee. In fact, both Beast Alliance Rise of the Beast Optimus Prime and Cyberverse Legends class Megatron, they look very structurally similar to their Gen 1 animation counterparts. And that's something too that I like very much about Rise of Beast Prime, as well as Bumblebee Movie Prime. Very Gen 1 friendly, Gen 2 friendly. We also have Cyberverse Starscream, Megatron's treacherous right-hand man. And I have the larger class. I have Cyberverse Wheeljack, which is probably the best nostalgia Wheeljack for the price. This is a $10 class Wheeljack. I'll show his transforming as well. His colors on his race car form are very similar to Castrol Syntec. They must have been a sponsor of the car or something that he was based on. We'll get to him. And I also have the oversized version of Cyberverse Megatron. He's the $10 version. And he's quite articulated and posable at the $10 price mark. And they got the face head sculpt pretty decent on him. Although the color they chose for his face has kind of darkened out his features, so it's hard to make him out. In the series, his face was virtually white. Okay, he's a little lighter in the face on the smaller version, more accurate. The gun's a little not quite right, though. All right, so like I said, we're going to start with the sizing, and it's going to go as follows. See, the Bumblebee Legends class, he's a couple bars above the 3-inch mark in robot form. Beast Alliance Rise of the Beast Optimus Prime. See where he ranks. He is, let's see on this side maybe. He is just a little over 5 inches, maybe 5 and 3 bars. Okay. We're going to come to Cyberverse $6 Cyberverse Legend class Megatron. That's a lot to remember. Okay. Let's see. The bottom of his foot goes all the way to, looks like he's just barely in the 5-inch realm right there. Okay. We're going to go over to his lieutenant, Starscream, with his 2 null rays there. They're attached on his forearms. Okay, we're going to put him foot first here and bring this to bear. He's almost 5 inches. His wingtips are 5 inches tall. From his foot to the top of the wingtips. And we'll go for the large scale Wheeljack. He's coming in, looks like, let's see, looks like about 7 inches Wheeljack. Okay. And then the oversized version of Cyberverse Megatron. Let's get his stance just right. His feet lined up with the bar. Okay. He comes in at virtually 8 inches tall. 8 inches tall, people. Okay. Not bad for 10 bucks. Okay. And that was a brand new price. This ain't any used product or anything when I got these. Okay. Now, I'm going to set up the gimbal and show you some of the transformations. Hold on a minute, people, and bear with me. You wonderful people of YouTube land. Okay. There we go. We're almost there. Jingle those holiday bells. December is a very important month for family. So is November too, but December is the focus point of a lot of important times for family in the great United States of America and possibly in a few other countries neighboring. Also, I want to throw a shout out to Captain Frugal, one of my good buddies, and Daryl Lau, or Daryl Tsung, on a channel that he sometimes refers to as Bushy Stallion. He's a Mortal Kombat master almost on multiple titles. He's really good at the arcade one-ups, and he's getting more to his collection. He has a basement setup of arcade one-ups that is pretty impressive. So a shout out to him, and I'll keep checking those live streams when I can, and keep commenting on other videos he has too. All right, guys. And I want to throw a big shout out to my good friend, Modder, Slipstream GT, or he's otherwise known as Mr. Mods. And he makes some of the coolest mods you'll ever see, classic system based. He's also not too shabby with giving you a modified classic system, NES Classic, SNES Classic with the HDMI outputs and the 30 or so games built into them. He makes custom shells and other augments to them. If you have any interesting requests, video game console-wise, I suggest you go to Mr. Mod's Slipstream GT channel. Alrighty, guys, getting back into it. Let's see, we're going to start with Bumblebee. Bumblebee is probably one of the smallest ones I have. I have RC. I'm not certain what drawer I put her in, so she's also a $6 Legends class. I added this Autobot emblem to his chest because he was missing one. Back windshield is on his back, so he has a backpack. So it's taken up some room, but there's like a balance kind of evening because they gave him big chunky feet. But he does transform more like the original Bumblebee. He even looks more like the original Bumblebee with the little Viking helmet head assembly here. Identical to his buddy Cliffjumper. In the original cartoon series from Gen 1, he was a Volkswagen Beetle. And these were the front trunk lids for the Volkswagen Beetle with the headlights and whatnot, and the front bumper. But now they just made him a generic compact car that's similar to a Volkswagen. I guess they're having difficulty keeping the licensing rights to have Bumblebee as a Volkswagen. If I recall correctly, even the Gen 1 version of him did not have official Volkswagen licensing, and it was shaped kind of like a penny racer at the time, which was another popular toy back in the early to mid 1980s. Penny racers featured a friction motor that you could pull them back, and after you pulled them back, they would just zoom off. And to balance the weight or to make them pop wheelies, they had a spot in the back where you could put a penny, and the penny would give it enough weight to pop up. And these were made almost the exact size of the Gen 1 Bumblebees. And you can see the headlight assemblies here. I had to augment them a little with silver paint. Same thing with the back windscreen and door panels. A little silver to kind of give you the perimeter of the windows proper. So the sizing looks mostly all right. There he is. He's in his compact pseudo Volkswagen mode. I wonder if the Transformer company had even considered maybe making Bumblebee into either a Fiat 500, which has a very Volkswagen kind of encapsulated, easy parking kind of thing to it, or the other one, which also has those features, the formerly British-made Mini Cooper, a two-door Mini Cooper, bright yellow Bumblebee, either as a two-door Mini Cooper or a two-door Fiat 500. I think that would be excellent, and I think they might have a better time negotiating a licensing agreement with one of those two car companies, seeing how Volkswagen is being unusually difficult. I mean, to me, if I had a car company and there's this hero robot trying to save the world, I'd want my car associated with that robot, you know. But from what I understand, Volkswagen's issue was they didn't want their car associated with war, which is kind of hilarious to me, because Ferdinand Porsche was originally developing the people's car, the Volkswagen car as we know it back in the 30s, 40s, with input, believe it or not, because they were taking over a lot of lands during the World War I and World War II. He was developing it with input from the leader of Germany at that time, which I believe was Adolf Hitler. So it's kind of funny that they don't want their car associated with war when it really kind of has its origins in one of the most atrocious wars ever happened on the face of the planet Earth. Oh. But yeah, I think Mini Cooper or Fiat 500 would be a perfect fit for that proper kind of Bumblebee. But that's just me. Sorry if I ramble. Not really sorry. What do I know? I'm a simple wood elf. But anyway, let me get to the second one. The gimbal's giving me a little difficulty here. I'm trying to rectify the gimbal before it has some sort of wreck. Okay, there we go. Okay, this is mostly a relaxing holiday time video. Here we are, Beast Alliance Optimus Prime. I've showed you a transform video of him before. I kind of got a little carried away, and it took way longer than what I had intended. So let me remove the ion blaster. Oh, it shattered my ocarina. Darn. And you'll see his head pivots back. Sorry I didn't instruct during the Bumblebee transformation, but you did see it on video, and you can always rewind it and look at it again. You can even change the speed. That's some of the options on YouTube these days. Pull the shoulders back, then you bring the forearms under like that. Not all the way though, leave them kind of loose and open, because you still have to turn it all the way around. So the grill is now facing front. Now those arms that were left kind of loose, you can guide somewhat into place. It's important that you line up the grill just right so they will be able to fit correctly once you get the arms into their junction. Ugh. That's funny. It's acting like it's unusually tight on the right arm. Okay, sorry about that. There we go. I think I remedied that. Had to lift up a little like this. There. They use these ball joints, and it's kind of like a rack and pinion sort of thing. Okay, with little sockets. The legs join together pretty easily. Push on that. Snaps it in there nice and good. The feet have these little extender pieces. You can fold them shut now. They help you give the Autobot better balance in robot mode. I've added silver modding to this one, and I've mentioned that before. You'll notice these little brackets here and here. They actually mount into the plastic here on the gas tanks. So you literally have to puncture the gas tanks with his metal elbows in order to make the transformation solid, which granted is pretty solid. I've had a couple different classes of Optimus Prime, and he's got faux wheels in the middle. He's actually got only 4 functional wheels, so I had to add silver to their hub areas to give it that finished look that unfortunately Hasbro at the $14 mark chose not to give him. They also chose not to give him metallic headlights or the silver stripe that he has that's prominent in the Rise of the Beast movie, and a straight stripe was prominent from front to just straight to back in the Bumblebee movie. It's essentially the same Prime body. There's a little bit of open area in the back. Adjust the pitch of the wheels a little. Should all be somewhat straight. And just get that bracket. It's not being very cooperative. It stayed where I wanted it earlier, and that's saying, no, thank you. Okay. Well, it's funny that a little bracket can cause all that. There we go. Okay. Alrighty, it looks mostly level from this side. The gas tanks were also, they were just blue. I had to add some silver to them. They're very square gas tanks. On different versions of him, he seems to have square gas tanks. But I believe in Bumblebee movie, he had rounded cylinder gas tanks. And I think the Bumblebee Studio Series one kind of reflects that. Okay. Enough about Rise of the Beast Optimus Prime. Put him over here. And let's go to... sorry, the gimbal's doing that difficulty thing again. I'm going to go to Legends Class Cyberverse Megatron. Okay. Start his transformation off by moving those feet. Then you have to rotate. You have to rotate these arms into just the right position. But first, remove the blaster. It's his Giga Cannon, or whatever they called it back in the day. Very few times did they reference that cannon by name, actually. So it is hard to remember what it's called. In the series, of course, he turned into a hand pistol, a Walther P38, nickel-plated. The origin of the Megatron toy itself, there was a company that made little robots that turned into guns. And the guns they turned into were a dark black Walther P38. And they were known, there was a TV show where a secret agent guy used Walther P38s. And it was a very popular show. And it was called The Man from U.N.C.L.E. And so these little robots that turned into his gun, they called them the Micromans. And I don't think they were official product or tie-in, but a Japanese company was making a boatload of them. Now you'll notice his tank treads are on the front. So that means we basically have to flip him over to do his transformation. This is the smaller Legends class Cyberverse Megatron. Now the arms have junkets inside them. That junket is to hold the cannon for the tank, because that's what he turns into in this one, a tank. Yeah, it's being kind of dry and stiff right there. Okay. See if I can get that bracket to be prominent on this side. There we go. Now, this has kind of a tricky element to it. He folds in like this. And you're supposed to get the arms kind of upright at this point. Get the other leg folded in, moving the foot so it goes under the armpit, like so. Okay, that part's accomplished. Bring the arm in and tilt it a little this way. And ditto with the other side. Sorry, the gimbal's starting to get a little fidgety here. Okay. And that's the ball sockets that they made them that way, so if there's too much stress on them, they just let go. That way you're not actually snapping plastic. There, ball socket back, good. Okay. In the old days, the Gen 1 toys were mostly die-cast with plastic parts. Today, the way they go about doing them is mainly so the figure has more posable articulation in robot mode. That's kind of a big word, isn't it? Posable articulation, 2 words. Where are we? We have the cannon somewhere here. Maybe it's under the tree. Okay. Now we have him where his tank treads are in the right direction. There's a little Decepticon logo on the bottom of the feet that are now the sides of the tank. Okay. Now we take this gun. It's got 2 little divots on each side. Go into these divot receivers on the inside of the arms. And this transformation is almost identical to the large Megatron's transformation, but they arranged him a little different, and you'll see what I'm talking about when we get to him. Okay, we got one over here. Okie dokie. Not too bad. Not too great either. It's like pointing at, there it goes. Okay. Now, join it in on the other side. It should, there. Now he's in Battle Tank mode. Battle Tanks was a good game. They have it online too, in a smartphone game mode now, or app, as some people want to call it. You can pivot the cannon up and down to get the appropriate clicks of how far you need to fire the mortar round. There we go. And Megatron's face, if you look under, you can see his face. So you don't really have to do much to change him into robot mode in that regard. Sorry if my voice is a little low here. I'm trying not to be too boisterous in this video. All right. There we are. And one of my subscribers, one of my buddies, told me I have a rather soothing voice when I tend to bring it out of cobwebs. All right, we're going to put Megatron next to his buddy Optimus Prime. That's sarcasm. They're vile, bitter enemies. And here's the treacherous lieutenant of Megatron. This is Starscream. In the original series, Starscream turned into a jet plane. He scanned an F-15 Strike Eagle. That was the kind of plane that Starscream originally took the form of. Here he turns into kind of a nonchalant, kind of a made-up airplane. I think it's sort of inspired by the F-22 Raptor, but it doesn't quite look right. It looks like it's borrowing elements from 2 or 3 different planes. Okay. Now, this is him in robot mode. obviously. He has articulation at the knee, and he has articulation at the elbow and upper sockets here. The rack and pinion is pretty high up on his shoulders here. It gets brought down. And the head, it's a little tricky transforming him, that portion of his body. We'll get to that. The wings are just one piece. They're on a flip down bracket. And they have reset points here and here for his null rays. So we will move the null rays. It's one of the transformations where it requires you to move the weapon. There we go. I've modded him a little bit too. His null rays were a little too obstructive earlier. I had to trim them down a bit so they make sense in the airplane mode a little. Okay, especially for where they mount them on the wings. Now, let's see. I believe the wings come down. The arms come down. At the high bracket point, they fold down. And the nose comes up. First, you gotta push his head in, which now gives you clearance to bring the nose all the way up into position. And it clicks nice and good there. It's hard to see here, but there's a micro-sized Decepticon logo right there. And here's a decent-sized one on the wing itself in the proper Decepticon purple. Okay. Now these arms can be further adjusted. The legs, you just fold them straight. There's two brackets at the bottom here. They kind of click in place if you get it just right. It's hard to get that just right. There. Okay. Then you got to fold the knees so it's flat. There. I think the forearms go like this. Yeah. That's how they go. So his vehicle mode is not as sleek as the other Transformers so far. That's another thing, folks. The Gen 1 era Transformers from that show, the toys of 85, 86, they were designed originally in vehicle mode first, and then they had to ascertain how this vehicle would look like a robot at some point. And the modern ones like these, they don't, there we go, it clicked right in place. Nice. Now the wings are firmly attached to the legs, aka thrusters. There are thrusters here. I tried to make them more noticeable with a color addition. Okay, keeps moving. Must be what they mean by a fishtail, because it keeps moving like a tail. Ironically, these are tail ailerons, so I guess that's normal that they would move like a tail. And there is Starscream in his jet mode. It's kind of hard not to notice the arms sticking way out. And it just doesn't look sleek in vehicle mode. It's just, they really did not think this one out thoroughly. I'm hoping if there's a larger version of this, Cyberverse Starscream, that the vehicle looks a little cleaner in vehicle mode. Probably has 6 additional transforming steps to accomplish that. There we go. It's null rays. And surprisingly, there's no wheels for landing on here, so I thought they might have molded those in. Guess not. Okay, put him next to his wonderful boss Megatron. Okay, now we get to the jumbo figures. See, in current Rise of the Beast, they have something they're calling a Wheeljack, but it's going by the name Pablo. And it turns into a vehicle form that I've never seen Wheeljack ever turn into. It's a slightly altered Volkswagen surfer van, and they deliberately altered its windshield so it's not the correct Volkswagen for the type of front grille it has. I don't know if they're trying to dodge licensing. I saw the toy, the figure, collectible. See, that makes it more mature if you call it a collectible figure. Instead of, wow, it's a toy and I love it. There you go. But the toy that they made based on the new Wheeljack, and this is what his Gen 1 head and everything is supposed to look like. It looks terrible. He looks like he's wearing glasses. He doesn't have his mouth covered. He doesn't have his ear flaps that light up when he talks. He looks nothing like Wheeljack. He looks like some random transformer they came up with last minute and decided, oh, this ought to be Wheeljack. But no, that one's Pablo. This is Wheeljack. He created the Dinobots. He does a lot of inventions for the Autobots. He's quite a genius in his own right. Okay. And let's see here. His transformation. Let's start. I believe it starts at the feet. The feet have a pivot joint that moves back inside. That goes right there, nice, snug as a bug. I'm going to do it with the other foot. Pay attention. Pay no attention to that snap. There we go. And then those go together kind of easily. See here, right here. Just line up the points just right. Okay. Got to fidget with them a little bit to get them together. He too has a thing where he has to, let's see, where's it? Pull one piece up, one piece goes back, and this goes forward, similar to Megatron's faceplate, for the same reason, to push Wheeljack's head inside. Protect Wheeljack's head, yes. Okay, now, remember there's a rotation. That's not the rotation. That's that rack and pinion thing popping at the joint level again. Okay. Yes, that does actually do this. Okay. That's how he bridges the gap to the legs that become the front section of the windscreen. The edge of it has to bite right on that lip like that. Okay. Basically, you're having to join it from 3 directions simultaneously and get the fit just right. Once there, you can now do this. Show you again, that was, you have to turn him around like that. Okay, there we go. Now that that's in place, you got to snap the top of the roof deck into the back windscreen support. Okay, now his arms, you gotta fold them back like that. You have to bring them forward a little bit. It's a tight fit when you get it up there. Tight fit when you get it up. Cut that out. Okay. There we go. Door lined up. Other door on its way. And you do have to kind of feel your way through the transformation a little until it makes sense, until it clicks proper. There we go. That was another thing with Gen 1 Transformers. The transformations were actually smoother. Like, they act like they're so difficult. They were not. Transformations were remarkably smooth on most of the Gen 1 lineup. And they did come with instructions on how to do it, to it, back then. Sorry, extremely close cam. He's virtually in his proper car mode. There's a couple of fine tunes. For some reason the door on this side is being a little bit difficult. There. That should fix that. Nice and good. Okay. Okay. Door assembly correct on this side too. A little bit of gap will be there regardless. And now the spoilers will be properly joined. Spoiler alert, we're going to join the spoiler. There we go. And the shoulder-mounted blaster, like I said, it could be deposited onto different parts of the vehicle mode. Currently, it's on the back. And now that everything's solid and snapped in proper, take that blaster, we'll mount it on Wheeljack's roof. Like that. Kind of an unfair advantage in 24-hour racing when you have a high-powered blaster just blowing the opponents completely off track at the worst moments of the race. No, he's an Autobot. He's a good guy, folks. That's what that symbol on his hood means. This is the Autobot logo. Sorry if it's a little fuzzy. The filtration of light doesn't seem to be accommodating me proper. There we go. Alrighty. That's Wheeljack. He's a prototype race car from the 80s. He should look kind of familiar too. If any of you are anime fans, which I happen to be, I like a lot of animes. I like Spirit Detective, Yu Yu Hakusho. I like Full Metal Alchemist, Brotherhood, and I like, gosh, there's a lot I like. Yeah, I like Inuyasha, and I'm not too proud, not above saying that I'm a big fan of the first generation era of Sailor Moon. That's right, I'm a Sailor Moon fan. I said it. That's right. I'll say it again. Yeah. Yeah, I got two of the Sailor Scouts that are my favorite. Sailor Mercury and Sailor Mars. So there, take that. Yeah. And if Princess Zelda doesn't like it, well, excuse me, princess. There we go. As I was saying, if you're a fan of anime, I'm a fan of a show called Ghost in the Shell Standalone Complex. And if you know the character Bato, well, in that show, Bato has a car, his own personal car. And danged if it doesn't look like a civilian version of this prototype race car. Down to the nub, it just looks like the same car. Maybe not the same paint color, but it's the same car. Look at the windshield structure. Look at the back windscreen. Look at the way it sits, that banked angle. Next time you see Bato in his car in Ghost of the Shell standalone complex, remember Wheeljack's vehicle mode. There we go. Wheeljack is restored whole once again. All Wheeljack, no Pablo. Okay. Okay, now we have the last of the lineup here. This is the jumbo-sized Cyberverse Megatron. I've added a Decepticon logo to the front, and he has one under that, but it's a very tiny logo. You can barely see any detail of it. There's some points here where his transformation contacts here, so that's what that hole is. Okay, first we take his Giga Blaster off. Now he's similar but different transform from the smaller version. They've altered how he transforms. You'll notice the tank treads are not on the front. On the small one, they were on the front. But on the large one, they're on the back, with little wheels added. Whee! Okay, why? Unlike the other one, the larger version, they actually let you transform the head so it can hide away under the chest plate, similar to the Wheeljack transformation. And his front now swivels, which is how we get the tank treads in the proper side. The feet once again go out. And now bring the arms into position so the holding brackets are proper. See, I think it's right like that. Okay. Point them up at the sky, or at this guy. The sky or this guy. Yeah, that's a common mistake. I think it was a couple of rock songs where the sky was said, but people thought they had said this guy, which made the lyrics that followed it kind of funny, or the lyrics preempting it extra funny once you joined it to that misunderstood happening. There we are. Now the legs are in proper shape. We'll tilt the arms in slightly. Rotate. Tilt the arm in slightly. Rotate. Push the, what do you call that? Your clavicle. Yeah, you push those shoulders close together like that. They actually have little tabs there. They now depress into the chest like that. There's that satisfying click. And that's what they're supposed to do. Sorry, I just whacked the camera. Yeah, Wild Elf's nose was getting itchy, so I had to reach up and take care of that. I deposited another Decepticon logo on the bottom of his foot. So in tank mode, you can definitely see he is truly a Decepticon. Okay, here we now have the treads on the proper side. There's wheels here too, and here, and here. And emergency exits are here, 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 here. Some of you know that reference. Okay. Let me see here. The Giga Cannon. Yeah, the Giga Blaster. And the bigger Megatron has a bigger cannon. How about that? Who would have thunk it? Okay, as you know, there's recesses in the arm. And I added a little silver to his arms too to give him a continuation of the color that he was supposed to have. But when they did this, I guess, budget-friendly version of Megatron, they kind of crapped out on proper paint. Hence the face has the paint that's unusually dark. His face is supposed to be really bright, metallic bright, like this. And if it wouldn't mess up the eye color, I would attempt to rectify that myself. But I don't think I could get it just quite precise. I'm an artist, but my skills are somewhat limited in that regard. There we go. Like the other one, you can pivot the gun for how many clicks up, how many clicks down to get the right distance of the mortar shell. There we go. And my guess is that not only are these feet like armor on the sides, but they're possibly coverings for what he would have as door openings, so soldiers can disembark or enter very quickly if they need a armed personnel carrier, which some tanks can take the place of that as well. Different design tanks. Some say, well, why would Megatron turn into a gray or silver tank? Well, in your urban environments, especially your city environments, you have a lot of metal, glass, and gray brick buildings. And his colorations, if it was continuous, a little more consistent, would be very much like urban camouflage in some of those environments. So the gray tank makes sense. All right. There he is. He is complete. His vehicle mode is solid. And I will put him next to the properly completed wheel jack. The wheel jack. Wah, wah. Okay. And there you have it, folks. They've been transformed. And I believe I have given you the sizing of each one proper. And like I said, if you're a fan of any of the modern Transformer shows, including Cyberverse and Armada and a host of others, and including those fans of Beast Wars and the ones that came shortly after, this is where it started, folks. Gen 1. This is what is the basic look for Optimus Prime throughout so many incursions. Traditionally, he's a flat-faced truck. But after the Michael Bay acquirements of Transformers stories, he became this big hog-nosed semi-truck. He never was one until the Michael Bay incursions. It's funny because it's really Steven Spielberg's Transformer movies. But he put Michael Bay as the main director guy, influencer, and he said, you know, do whatever you like as long as it is a success at the box office. He gave him a broad swath. This way, if nobody liked the first movie, if nobody liked the second follow-up Michael Bay movies for Transformers, if they didn't like it, if they were a jolly flop, it would have Michael Bay's name up there, Michael Bay's Transformers, and Steven Spielberg would just let the public completely blame Bay for the whole thing. But they were moderately successful, so he didn't have to do that. Alrighty, guys. I hope you enjoyed a more time less efficient way of enjoying the transformations as well as the proper heights of the individual transformers here. I hope more people that do toy videos regarding Transformer toys will be kind enough to furnish us with the height so we can understand what class of Transformer is proper size to other classes of Transformer, besides just showing a Transformer next to a Transformer, because that's really not helpful. We have no idea what size they are, other than, that one's slightly larger than that one, but we have no idea how large that is, so we don't know how large that one is. Alrighty, guys. And I just want to wish you guys the best of December and the happiest of your holidays in these colder days. Please remember the less fortunate. There are people out there hurting. There are people out there sleeping in the open. They're probably hungry. They could probably use some tarps or something, or if you have businesses, there's probably need for employees. And seeing how they're in the most need, just to find out how many of them are able. Because some of them are just people down on their luck, just looking for proper opportunity to help get themselves back to something decent. So you guys have excellent holidays. And remember, help those in need. You can help the charities. You can even send them whatever you're going to send them. But if you really want to make sure the people around you that you see in need are getting that help, then occasionally make sure you help them directly. All right. This is your friend, Wild Elf. Here, let me give you a little FaceTime here. Hey, guys. It's Wild Elf. How you doing, guys? All right. Catch you later. Bye.